God. Ask God.
Scott, this is David calling from Northern Ireland. Just a quick thank you for the podcast. It's a great motivator, and it's that rare combination of quality and quantity. So thanks a million for all the work you're doing for us. I have a question regarding reviews and variations. I launched my garlic press here in the UK about 6 months ago, and the sales are steady, and that's all good. And the garlic press itself came in a couple of color variations. Recently, following on from one of your podcast episodes, and to add value, I created a third variation, which was a garlic press with a peeler, which meant I could put my price up a little bit and separate from the competition and make a little bit more per sale, which was all perfect. Now, I'm thinking of phasing out the original press and only selling the variations, so only selling the press and the peeler. And my question is, if I stop selling that original SKU, will the reviews that came in for that SKU disappear? So obviously right now, 95% of my reviews are for the press on its own. If I stop selling that and only sell the new variation, will I lose those reviews? Like I say, I'm based in the UK, and so volumes are much lower, I think, than in the US. And even I've got a decent feedback process going on, and even with that, reviews take a good while to build up. So I don't want to lose those reviews that came from the original SKU if I switch to selling the variation only. Does that make sense? Thanks.
Hey, David, thank you so much for the question, and thanks for being a listener. I really do appreciate that. And I think this is a great question. It's also kind of very similar to what I just said in the last question, because it kind of relates to if you make a change to your listing, what should you do? Should you just start a whole new listing and then possibly lose your reviews? Here's the deal, okay? Now, there's a couple different things I want to address with your situation, okay? Okay, and anyone else out there listening that has a product that they're currently selling, but then they're going to add something to it to make it more of like a bundle or more like an accessory to it. Now that's going to be the product. Here's what I think. I think you can still sell the one product on the same listing, add the bundle, add the one with the accessory, right? And keep that one even if, and I call it kind of like a loss leader, almost where you can keep that price point lower to get the attention to bring people into the listing. I want you to think of your listing like it's your store. And if we can get people to open the door and come inside, then we can show them what else we have, right? If you also have other products that you've had other customers buy, you're gonna also expose them to customers who bought this, also bought this. So it's another cool thing. You can also then expose them to the promotions that are inside the listing. So if you have promotions that cross-promote other products, which you may or may not right now, but if you do in the future, this is a great way to still get people in. Now, if you get people in, let's say that your garlic press, you can list that for $12.97 or $12.95 or whatever, $12.99, however you want to price it. But your bundle is like $19.99, right? Well, it's a better deal. They know now for another $7 I can get, or $6 I can go ahead and get this other thing that normally would cost on its own $12 or $13. So it's a no-brainer, right? But the lead-in offer still can maybe bring in a couple, $2, $3 per sale, but it's also going to be a lead gen, as we call it, to get people into the listing. So that's how I would treat that. I wouldn't necessarily phase that one out. Now, you could phase that out. And then you can say like it's new and improved like I just talked about, and then that new and improved has this extra piece in there that makes that process better. The problem with that, though, is those reviews are not going to talk about the other thing. It's like a variation. If you have different variations that, obviously they're different, well, those reviews are going to be mixed, right? And sometimes you don't know what the review was that people are referring to, right? I mean, that's probably happened to you. It's happened to me. Like I'll find that there's like 5 different ones. Actually, I'll give you a perfect example. I was looking at suitcases the other day because I'm going to be traveling to San Diego, which I said in the beginning here, and I wanted a new travel carry-on one that I could have, but a hard shell. And I was looking at different ones, and I'm going through that process. And again, I'm going through the process just like I would if I was, someone that didn't know anything about this, although I do know a little bit about it. But the thing was, is there was like 700 reviews, and they had like 7 different colors. Right? So some of them people were saying, oh, they bought the red one. The red one, it, had a higher sheen than the gray one. So because of that, it scratched easier or whatever, right? So sometimes you got to thumb your way through those reviews. And so what I'm saying here is if you had a garlic press standalone and then a garlic press with a garlic press peeler, well, some people are going to dig through deeper to see what the review is about, or they're just going to look at the quality of the item, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I don't think that you have to phase it out completely. And I honestly don't think I would. I think I would keep that SKU. And then that way there, you have two different SKUs. You've already done the sourcing. And then this way here, it's a nice lead in to bring people into your store or your listing in a sense, right? Think of that listing as a store. And then this way here, you can bring people in, expose them to your world, right? Expose them to other options. So I think that's really, really smart to do that. Because again, if people are thumbing through and they're kind of looking at the thumbnails and they're looking at price, yours might say $12.97 to $19.97 or $12.97 to $24.97. That $9.97 or that $12.97 is going to get people, it's going to open their eye because they're shopping price always. And then they're going to go ahead and get clicked in there. And then you can expose them to everything you have. So hopefully this makes sense. And I kind of like it. And I didn't even plan that, but it actually goes really well with the last question that I just answered. So hopefully this helped. Thanks for being a listener. Keep me posted and keep pressing on, my friend. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.